So I'm just back from my second ever hike wearing stubbies, which is exciting. And like I'm using the term hike loosely, but I was on trails that went a little bit up and a little bit down, and I was surrounded by trees for almost 40 minutes, which is honestly none too shabby. There we go. Look at, they're all muddy from the hiking. I didn't cover a lot of ground because I'm very close to the ground. Like my stride length is so short. But anyway, it's pretty exciting to see the progress. Anyway, I went further than my first hike. And this is a trail with like a lot of dog use, which was really funny because dogs were confused, but not, I'll get to that, not all dogs, but like dogs were confused by the stubbies. Like every dog, not every dog, I'll come back to that. Most of the dogs that saw me, they'd like see me from far away and do that like thing where they'd like kind of like pause, like, no pun intended, like stop, like, you know, stiff front legs, and like what the fuck? Like what sort of like forest cryptid is that? And then when they got closer, one of three things happened. Either they lost their ever-loving shit. There were two dogs that were just like, I hate that tiny person who is neither child nor adult in size. Anyway, they were really upset about it. And they were dogs that I had watched them like pass other people and dogs with no problem. So it was me. And then there were so many, it was actually really nice to watch sort of the dogs and their humans interacting on this trail, because both of those dogs, like their humans, saw me and leashed up their dog, which I so appreciate. And then there were a number of dogs who were not interested in me because the humans had them like focused on them, right? They were doing the like, I've got a little treat in my hand. Whether or not they did, I don't know, but the dogs were like, yes. Like totally focused on their humans. And it just, yeah, I appreciate that awareness on the part of the dog people on the trail, being like, my dog might have a reaction to this person, or just simply like, I like my stubby feet are like, they're not that big. Like I don't have a huge, like I'm tippier potentially than most folks with like, you know, a bigger base to stand on. And so I just appreciate like people kind of clocking that and like keeping their dogs like tuned into them instead. And then there were a couple dogs who like did the like, what's that? And then they're like, oh, it's actually a friend. And they were so sweet. They were just like so excited. And again, like really lovely dog humans who like, you know, when I was like, is this okay? Like, is it okay if she says hi? And which I super appreciate again. So yeah, but let me tell you, the dogs that did not give a shit, the dogs that were like, hey, I just like kept on trucking, were the small dogs, like the tiny dogs. Like, so like every little thing with like little bitty legs on the trail was just like sup and kept moving, and it was like, I see you. Like small dog solidarity, my guy. Anyway, I loved that. It was great, but I'm proud of myself. It felt good because one of my goals with using stubbies is to get out in the woods and be able to do some hiking. So I'm enjoying working up to that, even though I underestimated how slow I would be. But maybe I'll get faster as I also get stronger. So we will see. I'll take a video of it at some point. I didn't have any good way to hold or place my phone, and I was mostly just focused on like staying upright with like tree roots and like gravel and hills and slopes, same thing. Anyway,